Ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, thank you all for coming and welcome to the opening of the third edition of the Colombo Art Biennale. We're very pleased and indeed proud for you to come and view and experience the event, which has now become Sri Lanka's leading international contemporary art manifestation, which will take place over a period of 10 days here in Colombo. On behalf of the CAB team, we are delighted how much attention and interest CAB has already generated for this edition. CAB is a not-for-profit organization supporting contemporary art in Sri Lanka, and we are extremely grateful for the tremendous support we have been given by our many sponsors, without whom this event would not be possible. I won't read out all the names of all the sponsors because we have over 50, but they're all listed here and we're grateful to each and every one. As with the previous two Colombo Art Biennales, and indeed with most biennales, we have selected a theme for this biennale, which is making history. The artistic participation for CAB 14 has been an open application to artists, and the selection process was made according to which artists' proposals were able to address the theme in a relevant and expansive manner. The theme, Making History, was selected as a provocation exploring the artistic adventure of making history. It inquires into the contemporary aesthetic experience from historical, present, and future points of view to reveal a possible reality of making history as an art historical trajectory. This edition of the Colombo Art Biennale has 60 participating artists from 15 different countries, of which 30 artists are international. And those artists are coming from Britain, Scotland, Germany, Austria, France, Sweden, Italy, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Qatar, China, Iran, and the US. In line with our principle, 50% of the participating artists are Sri Lankan, so we have 30 artists coming from all around Sri Lanka. And I wanted to point out that although this has become a truly international biennale, the CAB mission remains to strengthen the platform from which Sri Lankan artistic talent can be seen, recognized, and appreciated both by the national and international community. Across the 7 different venues around Colombo, you'll be able to enjoy a wide range of contemporary art in various mediums, including painting, sculpture, installation, new media, and sound art. In addition, this year we're very pleased to be including an exciting live art component to the Biennale, and we're very happy to have Ruhani Pereira on board as our live art curator, who has been working very hard to create a not-to-be-missed program on live art over the next 10 days. In addition to our 7 venues, we also have fringe events, such as exhibitions, numerous social events that are guaranteed to be fun and entertaining. So please do pick up a program and try to come to as many as you can. I'd like to introduce you to our distinguished curators. Ruhani Pereira, who is our curator for, as I mentioned, the live arts component, but also are conversations and arty afternoons, so panel discussions and presentations. And Neil Butler, who is our international curator and is here now with us for the third time round. So I'll start by introducing Neil, who will open with a few words. Thank you very much.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. Enormous pleasure to be here. This is for the third edition of the Biennale. I was fortunate enough to be here on the first edition as a guest curator and performer. And at that point, I've been traveling to Sri Lanka for many years, for 10 or 15 years, and engaging with the artistic community. I've always been enormously impressed by the community and the artists that I've worked with and met. And some time ago established an international residency scheme whereby artists come from outside Sri Lanka to live and work here, and we invite Sri Lankan artists to work abroad. And I think one of the most important features of CAB, and the reason why I've been involved from the beginning, is that it's promotion of Sri Lankan art and Sri Lankan artists and Sri Lankan culture. Artists have a very special place in the culture of the country. They represent it through the work they make. They represent it in terms of their dialogue, their discourse, what they have to say, how they see the world and how they interpret the world. And I come from a country, Scotland, and a city, Glasgow, which over the last 2 or 3 decades has put an enormous amount of focus on the work of its artists and a pride in its culture. And the way this has worked is that they worked very hard to win an accolade in 1990 called European City of Culture, whereby they were nominated with this title. And the reason they wished to be nominated by the title is that they had enormous pride in their culture and enormous pride in their artists. And it became a benchmark. It became a way of other cities across Europe understanding how the work of artists and the cultural community can have an enormous impact on the self-worth, the self-esteem of a city and a country, and also a very powerful way of communicating the culture of that country, both nationally and internationally. So for me, part of the importance of CAB is the way that it acts as a platform that draws together the artists of this country and puts them in an international context where their work is seen alongside that of other artists coming from all the countries that Anushka referred to. On the other side, it's a privilege for artists to come to this country and to live and work here. And the scheme that I'm involved with brings in artists from across Europe, and they live and work here for 6 weeks or longer, and they make work that is influenced by their interaction with the people of this country and the interaction with the wonderful environment. And in doing so, they also understand more about themselves. I never felt that I understood what it meant to be European until I left Europe. And it's a very, very interesting and important experience for an artist to come from one culture into another to discover what their own identity is. And of course that then brings to bear on what we're talking about when we're talking about the theme of making history. The theme of making history and understanding where we come from, understanding our identity, talking about it critically, finding ways of expressing it, finding ways, as Anushka says, where artists are not only employing paint and drawing and installation work, but they're also employing performance, dance, choreography, sound, all these other areas. And what is very exciting about this edition of the Biennale is not only do we have artists from 16 countries, but we also have artists working across every area of every possible medium, using every possible way of expressing their art. So it's a very exciting Biennale. It is also a Biennale when the work is going outside the galleries. There's an enormous amount of work being created in the galleries, but also it is going out to where the people are. And again, that's a critical issue within the Biennale to say that this work is not only for those who are enthusiastic and love art and would want to come into the galleries to explore it, but also we wish art to go out to where the people are, so that people confront it in their everyday lives. It's a real privilege to be here. Thank you very much. I hand back to Anushka.
I'd like to hand straight over to Rouhani, actually.
I'm not going to go on for very much longer, but I will take off from something that Neil already mentioned, the idea of a dialogue. And I think with the live art segment and with the conversations and arty afternoons, one thing that I have enjoyed in the process is to work with my peers, Neil and Amit, finding ways where artists respond to the entire collection of work. And starting from tomorrow, when the first live art piece is open to the public, called Othered Histories, responding directly to the TV Santosh sculpture, which is at the Park Street News Warehouse, Effigies to Turbulent Yesterdays, it will be an interesting beginning to discuss how performers respond to artwork. All of the live art pieces will be spread out across the next week, as will the conversations. And it will be important that you are a part of it, because I think one thing we believe very strongly is that the meaning-making process in art is a shared one, and it involves the people who are making the art, but it is also involving a people in the art. So it would be nice to see you all there.
Thank you. Thank you, Rouhani. I'd also like to introduce you to Amit Kumar Jain, who is here in the audience. Amit is our regional and local curator who has been working very hard, based in Delhi, between Delhi and Doha. He's not with us on the head table, but he is in the audience, so any questions, and afterwards, please be aware that Amit is here. Also in the audience is co-founder Jagat Veer Singh. So any questions for our co-founder can also be directed. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce you to some of our other distinguished guests who have been really very much responsible for the Biennale happening from a sponsorship and support point of view. His Excellency, the German Ambassador, Jürgen Mahat, Dilip Muradania from Cinema Group, and Garan Rose from MTB Bank and American Express. Thank you all so much for all your amazing support. And Your Excellency, would you like to say a few words, please?
Dear Anushka, dear art lovers, dear friends of the Sri Lankan artists, which have a special place in my heart, but I will come later to this. Just coming in here, I already could get a glimpse of a wonderful piece, a brick stone wall on the parking lot here, a kind of egg-shaped wall, which reminds me, as a German who lived in Berlin, of one important piece of art, the Berlin Wall. The famous Berlin Wall and its reminders in Berlin not only serve as a street art wall painting. 25 years, I think we already remember, it was a symbol of division, a historic landmark, but since the wall fell down, it became itself, its reminders in the heart of Berlin, a piece of art. Some of you visiting can buy a piece of it, but also the process leading to the fall of the wall is considered nowadays as art and part of German culture, and it has been a stimulating source of creativity for the spirit of the Berlin city and its people after the Cold War. Thus, the whole political process and the downfall of the wall turned into art. Colombo itself today, when I look into it, you go around, you see remarkable transformation of the city. Ongoing construction, renovations, beautification brings attention to us, to its potential, to new but also to old buildings, and also to what still could be done. I particularly commend the organizers of the two art events, as I said, the two art events here, for picking up venues, normally which slip our attention, but highlight that there have been structures, old and new ones, which played important roles. and still have fantastic possibilities for future development of the city. Particularly normally, public spaces like railway station, pedestrian crossing are forgotten. But there also are important habitat for citizens which could be used in other cities as is done for art. For any city which is modernizing, who tries to become a very special place, a place to visit, to explore, to invest, it's very important to develop a certain spirit, a distinctive feel of the city. Normally, it's art and culture which gives the city its specific, special atmosphere, which draws people, makes city exciting, and gives it a face, a heart, or even a soul. When infrastructure and construction are booming, like in Colombo, when the economic growth has been unleashed, then it's time to develop soul and identity of this modernizing city. Also, not only to modernize further, but also to preserve the past. I'm convinced that events like the Colombo Art Biennale can and will make an important contribution to develop a very distinct individual flavor, a distinct atmosphere of Colombo, and make it known as a city where young and modern art and culture can thrive. What would a city like Rome, Paris, London, New York, Berlin be without art and culture? I think this is a unique chance, and I'm very happy that not only I myself personally, but also we as an embassy can contribute this year. Being an ambassador is not only my personal hobby, being here and being involved, but of course it's part of our official policy, which is that Germany's aim to play a responsible part in shaping globalization. Cultural relations and education policy, in a sense of cultural diplomacy, can make a very substantive contribution than ever in this context, using cultural exchange, dialogue, as our instrument, and basing our approach on the idea of partnership and mutual respect, we hope to be able to reach people directly and gain their appreciation for our own country, Germany. Our own culture is colored by the ideals and values of the European Enlightenment process. Reason, honesty, the ability to level criticism and to criticize oneself, innovation and commitment to progress are integral part also of our arts and cultural life. Thus, the German embassy has made it a very focal point of us to promote Sri Lankan artists with partnerships during the Biennale. We want to give them a chance to exhibit their work at the Biennale, but apart from taking over partnerships ourselves, we are very pleased that we succeeded to find German companies and also Sri Lankan partner companies to be partnered to and follow our suggestion to a sponsorship. The embassy is also providing funds for the main venue, and I hope that many people will come and visit and have a chance to experience the variety of art provided in the next coming days. The new and very fascinating, refreshing angle of the Biennale for myself is the interactive approach you have been choosing. Art as a possibility for many people visiting in the audience to get involved themselves, art that happens here and now, and art that happens because of you. I therefore suggest to see yourself and enjoy. We have a number of interesting artists in town, also some from Germany, that you can meet on various venues. And last of least, don't forget, of course, to visit the exhibition of the German artist Rosemary Trottel at the wonderful new building of the Central Bank in Chatham Street.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Gian, would you like to say a few words?
Members of the head table, my friends in media, and ladies and gentlemen. Nations Trust Bank is indeed proud to sponsor the third edition of the Colombo Art Biennale, Sri Lanka's leading festival of contemporary art. I would like to commend the Colombo Art Biennale for providing a world-class platform of opportunities for the development of Sri Lankan art and Sri Lankan artists to showcase their talent. The Colombo Art Biennale has in the past 3 years made a major contribution to promote art and artists by presenting 3 world-class exhibitions which showcase the talents of the very best of local, regional and international artists. Taking into consideration the success of the previous years, I'm sure that this event is of the highest standards and will be received well. Nations Trust Bank and American Express Cards endeavors to offer its card members and customers rewards, recognition, and privileges. Catering to various interest groups and being relevant in their lifestyle is a key focus, be it a wildlife photographer, a music enthusiast, or a culinary expert. This partnership has provided the bank with an opportunity to be a part of nurturing and enabling artists to showcase their skills and talent. I sincerely hope that this exhibition will be well received by the art-loving public, our valued American Express card members, and all our customers of Nations Trust Bank. I wish the Colombo Art Biennale all the very best in their future endeavors.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Mr. Mududenian.
Your Excellency, Anushka, members of the media, Cinnamon is a homegrown brand which represents contemporary Sri Lanka. And the role which art plays in the contemporary Sri Lanka is significant. And as a responsible brand, we always try to associate and help such events which we can take Sri Lanka to the world. In most times, the role which art can play in destination marketing is underestimated. There are classic examples around the world. Small island in Caribbean some time ago, about 10 years ago, decided that the minister in charge that the entire island will be painted in white color and with a lot of colorful colors to come in. All the ships that were passing didn't even stop. Actually, all of a sudden start shopping and buying things there, coming there, and that became a tourism destination within a couple of years. It's a very small example. Ice Hotel in Switzerland is another, in Sweden is another example. So the role of art in destination marketing is something very, very significant, and it is a clientele that people are looking for. It's a clientele that looking upmarket, coming to buy things, appreciate the true culture, and the Excellency mentioned that the soul of the place, we call it sense of place. Art can give you a sense of place, and a sense of place is something which differentiates from one place to the other. So Cinnamon, be proud of being associated with this event, which actually can take Sri Lanka to another level with the mileage, with the promotional exposure that we get here and other countries. So thank you for organizing this event, and we are always supportive of such events to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for all your words. That concludes our words. If any members of the press or any members of the audience would like to direct any questions to any members of the head table, please do. And also, as I mentioned earlier, Mr. Amit Kumar Jain is in the audience, and I'm sure will be happy to answer some questions, as would our co-founder, Mr. Jagad Singh. Thank you.